Hi, fourth grade. Today our reading lesson is over the little short book, Can We Protect People from Natural Disasters? We're going to read this little book and then we are going to find key information and the main idea of each section. So let's get started. Okay, the first section is, what are natural disasters? Notice the heading is bold and bigger than the rest of the text. Fearsome floods, desperate droughts, violent volcanoes, and shuddering earthquakes are all natural disasters. We hear about them happening all over the world. We learn how they cause death, devastation, and disruption. But what is a natural disaster? A natural disaster is an extreme weather or geological event. It overwhelms the defenses that people have built to stop it. Normal natural weather forces such as wind, rain, sun, and snow, as their extremes become hurricanes, floods, droughts, and blizzards. Mild earth tremors and gently oozing lava in remote places are harmless geological events. However, large earthquakes and explosive volcanoes pose a threat to the people living in the way of them. Many parts of the world are at risk for natural disasters. Risks are considered to be human deaths, destruction, and economic harm. So if you look at North America, we are yellow, and so it shows that we are at a moderate risk, which is the second from the bottom. Very few are at this low risk. The U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency, known as FEMA, defines a natural disaster as an event that causes 100 or more deaths or injuries, or $1 million in damage. The World Health Organization describes it as a serious disruption of the functioning of a community, causing widespread human, material, economic, or environmental losses. The government will declare a state of emergency or call for outside assistance. After a natural disaster, many people are asked, could people have been better warned and rescue teams more prepared? Could people have been better protected? How long has it taken to recover? Was it caused by human decisions? So here we have a little quote right here from the senior researcher of World Watch Institution in Washington, D.C. We have altered so many natural systems so dramatically, their ability to protect us from disturbances is greatly diminished. Okay, and then we have a little caption for this picture. It says, could the forest fire caused by lightning in drought-stricken Australia have been prevented? Does human activity make droughts worse? Okay, so that is the first section. So we're going to go right here to the first section, and we are going to answer some of these questions. So, what's some key information, some important facts that we learned in what are natural disasters? So I'm going to go back up here to the text. And this says that FEMA defines a natural disaster as an event that causes 100 or more deaths or injuries or $1 million in damage. So here are some important facts. FEMA defines a natural disaster as causing 100 or more deaths or injury. Sorry, Benson is playing with balls. Or How did it say that about the money? Or $1 million in damage. Or $1 million in damage. Okay, let's see what other facts we can locate in this section. After a natural disaster, we're going to wait on that. World Health Organization describes it as a serious disruption of the functioning of a community. I like that. The serious disruption of a functioning community. Let's see. I like that. An extreme weather or geological event. An extreme weather or geological event. Weather. Let me move that up, sorry, so you can see. Or geological event. Let's see if we have any more that we like. Go back to the first page. I think we got the main ones right here. So here are the key information, the important facts that we have, and now we have to have a main idea. We have that FEMA defines a natural disaster as causing 100 or more deaths or injuries or $1 million in damages. It is a serious disruption of a functioning community. An extreme weather or geological event. So the main idea of what are natural disasters, we could start out with natural disasters are, let me see what that one says, are extreme weather or geological events. Weather or geological events that that cause a lot of damage or deaths and injuries. That cause a lot of damage or deaths / injuries. Okay, so our main idea for the first section is natural disasters are extreme weather or geological events that cause a lot of damage or deaths / injuries. Okay, so let's go to the next section. And the next section is titled, What are the effects of natural disasters? Shattered lives, battered buildings, and flattened habitats are some of the immediate effects of natural disasters. Infrastructures are also destroyed, including hospitals, roads, railroads, airports, and telecommunications. This destruction delays rescue and recovery. People who need medical care are forced to wait, so their health worsens. Food runs out and people are weakened, and so are more likely to become sick. Broken water supplies and sewage systems bring diseases. The longer-term effects include displacement. Do you guys know what displacement means? Well, actually, it tells us in the next sentence. This is when people are forced to leave their homes, schools, and work. In farming communities, crops and grazing land are ruined, which badly damages local economies. In the latter stages of natural disasters, some people are too frightened or too poor to return or rebuild their area. So this makes me think about Hurricane Katrina and when the levees broke in New Orleans and people had to evacuate. I mean, it took months and some even years before they could rebuild. I need you to go play. Okay, so right here says some key informations on what are the effects of natural disasters. So I like right here where it says shattered lives, battered buildings, flattened habitats. So I am just going to actually shattered lives, battered buildings, flattened. And I love the way they use adjectives to describe all of these things. And they use habitat instead of homes. I need to move it up, but I want to be able to see that. Infrastructures are destroyed. So the infrastructures are what we need as a community for our community to function. So we need our roads. We need the transportation, which is the railroads, the airports. We need our hospitals, telecommunications. Obviously, tele means far, and communications, you know what that means. So that's going to be like our cell towers or our phone lines, things like that. Okay, so right here, infrastructures destroyed. Telecommunications destroyed. So the telecommunications and the infrastructures being destroyed, that slows ambulances, helicopters, anything from reaching us if we can actually even call to ask for help. So what are the effects? So I am going to, I want to put it with both of those. So I think I might just put it delayed medical help attention. If we don't have the railroad, if we don't have the roads or airplanes that bring in our food, then yes, food is going to run out. So, lack of food. Broken water supplies. Ooh. So, water / sewage damage, and that can cause diseases. Okay. Now, the long-term effects are displacement, which we said you having to leave your home, your community. Local economy, because right here, a farming community, they depend on those crops. And if they don't have the crops or the grazing land for their animals, they can't sell the crops, they can't sell the grain, they can't sell the animals, and then the economy tanks. So, damages local economy. Okay, in the later stages of natural disaster, some people are too frightened or too poor to return or rebuild. So that has to do with the displacement. Okay, so now we're going to do the main idea for this entire section. What are the effects of natural disasters? And we said that shattered lives, battered buildings, flattened habitats, infrastructure destroyed, telecommunications destroyed, delayed medical help, lack of food, water sewage damage, which can cause diseases, displacement damages the local economy. So, some effects of natural disasters. Include, and I'm just going to list a few of these. Infrastructures destroyed, because that's an important one. Delayed medical help. Displacement. I forgot my R in this. Sorry about that. And damages local economy. And damage to local economy. I have to kiss a boo-boo. Give me just a second. Come here, let me kiss the boo-boo. Is it on your foot? Oh, where's the boo-boo? The bottom of the foot? Okay. Goodbye. Go play. Sorry about that. Okay. So here is our main idea for that section. Some effects of natural disasters include infrastructures destroyed, delayed medical help, displacement, and damage to local economy. I don't love the word damage there, but I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to add to the local economy. Okay. Next section is titled, How Do We Measure Natural Disasters? Measuring natural disasters gives us information that will help protect people from further natural disasters in the future. It shows us how to help people at each stage after the disaster too. How is this done? First, scientists measure the physical nature of the disaster. For example, how wide was the hurricane? How strong were the winds? How high were the ocean waves that hit the shore? How long did the disaster last? The second set of measurements shows the impact of the natural disaster on people, buildings, infrastructures, and the economy. It also shows how much money it costs to make things better. Scientists continue to measure natural disasters for many years after it happens. They use new developments in mathematics, mapping, and computer models to bring information up to date. So we now know that some natural disasters that happened in the past are even worse than we first thought. Okay, so key information and the main idea. Let's start with key information. How do we measure natural disasters? So, measuring the natural disasters, they look at the physical nature of the disaster. So I'm going to look at the physical nature of the disaster. Okay. What else do they look at? So it gives us examples. Whoops, sorry. Okay, I'm not good with this cursor pad thing. I apologize. The second set of measurements shows the impact of the natural disaster on people. So that's what I'm going to put right here. Look at the impact of the natural disaster on people. Okay. And then it says, it also shows how much money it costs to make things better. How much money it takes to make things better. Did I miss something right there? No. Okay. Scientists continue to measure natural disasters for many years after it happened. So scientists use new developments to bring information up to date. New developments to bring information up to date. Okay, so now we're going to include those and make our main idea. It says, how do we measure natural disasters? Look at the physical nature of the disaster, look at the impact of the natural disaster on people, how much money it takes, and use new development. Okay, so I am going to start out. In order to measure the natural disaster, notice I use a complete sentence under my main idea. I don't always use a complete sentence under my important facts, my key information. Okay, this over here is just my notes. My main idea needs to be in a complete sentence. So in order to measure the natural disasters, I don't know if it's always scientist. I'm going to just say they. They look at the physical nature of the disaster. They look at the physical nature of the disaster, the impact of the natural disaster on people, how much money it takes to make things better, much. Okay, I make fun of myself sometimes. It takes to make things better, and scientists use new development to bring information up to date. New development select, I'm going to put /technology. Scientists use new developments /technology to bring information up to date. Okay, so here is our main idea for this section. How do we measure natural disasters? In order to measure the natural disaster, they look at the physical nature of the disaster, and I cannot spell the correctly. I spell it that way so often that my computer calls it correct. The impact of the natural disaster on people, how much money it takes to make things better, and scientists use new development /technology to bring information up to date. Okay, so that was the last section that we were going to do together. Now your turn is going to be right here. You are going to tell me, is it easy to protect people from natural disasters? So I am going to read this aloud to you, and I'm actually going to go back to the main document because it has another little section that might also be helpful to you. So let me go over here and get to this. So, is it easy to protect people from natural disasters? It can be hard to protect people from natural disasters where it is difficult to predict their strength, duration, and exact location. However, as you can see from the map on page 4, there are parts of the world where natural disasters often occur. Therefore, scientists can concentrate on predicting disasters for these areas. Predicting disasters helps us to prepare for them. Engineers can design strong buildings and barriers, or they can deliver sources of water where droughts often occur. Emergency experts can set up warning systems. They can prepare rescue teams, equipment, and plans of action and recovery. Okay, so hero or villain? Let's read this little text box right here. How natural are natural disasters? Are we making weather disasters worse by contributing to climate change? Are we causing more earth tremors through mining and drilling? Should we stop living in the path of natural disasters? Do all these human activities make it harder to predict natural disasters and protect people from them? Interesting. Okay, so here's a picture of a flood, obviously, and this is Bangladesh. Bangladesh's yearly floods are needed so the crops can be planted, but it is hard to protect the people from the diseases that can be carried in water. That's interesting. So you're kind of looking for the lesser of the two evil. You need the crops, but you don't want the disease. So interesting. Okay. This is the part I wanted to read to you. It says, what makes protection harder? Some disasters happen in developing countries which cannot afford to protect themselves or carry out effective rescue and recovery. Others occur where war has already disrupted lives and destroyed infrastructures. Governments and international media sometimes do not report natural disasters in these areas early enough. This makes disasters very difficult to handle. As we can see below, through richer nations are sometimes no better prepared than poorer ones. Okay, so I am also going to read this little eyewitness. It says, can you see the picture? It says, we broke our way out through the rubble after the tornado hit. It's like we rose up into a war zone. Everything's gone here and more. This is in Moore, Oklahoma, so it's not too far from here. Even the two schools are flattened. There was paper on the ground, schoolwork, and kids' stuff, said Tony Parton. We walked just a bit further, and it got worse. And then the next street, completely gone. I've never seen anything like it. 5 cars piled on top of each other. And this is from a tornado survivor in Moore, Oklahoma, Tony Parton. Okay, so your job is to look back at this section. Is it easy to protect people from natural disasters? And I want you to, just like we did together, I want you to come up with the important facts, the key information right here, and then your main idea. Remember, the main idea needs to be in a complete sentence. Your important facts, that can just be a list. Okay, I will see you guys next week. Bye.